We are 22S Radio. 22S Radio is 22smedia.com and 88.1 FM KKJZ HD3 Long Beach, Los Angeles.
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, and now our World Broadcasting Tag Team Champions of the World and a Cruiserweight Champion.
I'm Ethan.
I'm James.
I'm Rob.
And this is episode 187 of Beyond the Ropes. We are BTR Pro Wrestling Talk. Of course, I'm your host, Ethan. You can find me on social media, on the Twitter, at EthanME95. You can follow James, the analyst, at
JHW Reporter.
And you can find producer Rob Flores at
Rob Flores Media. And don't forget the R-Truth DMs for Ethan.
That there last week backstage causing a ruckus trying to capture that 24/7 championship. We are still on the road to WrestleMania. By the time this gets released, this weekend it will be WrestleMania weekend. We've got a stacked show ahead of us. But before we get into it even further, we also can be heard on Anchor. So be sure to check us out there. Search up Beyond the Ropes.
Mm-hmm.
You'll hear our beautiful voices. Of course, YouTube. Just find us on YouTube at Beyond the Ropes, and you'll see our beautiful faces here in black and white. So let's get into it, I guess. Seth freaking Rollins, the visionary, the drip god himself. It's not been a good couple of weeks for him.
No, it doesn't appear to be...
He's very upset.
To be the case for him.
I'm very
upset. I guess I saw he got a little mad. He's a little upset.
A little furious. So, he's being a little menace, so it's fine.
Isn't he always, though? What do you mean, little menace?
I mean, a little extra the last couple of weeks, but so he comes out, he's backstage. We'll talk about someone else who's being a menace's best friend. We'll talk about that as well. But Seth's backstage. He's being asked, he doesn't have a match at WrestleMania.
Mm-hmm.
What's he gonna do? He grabs a mic, says, "I'm gonna borrow this." Interrupts a Mysterio match, which it's fine.
Is it? Rob would probably agree. Rob would probably be okay with it.
Yeah. Well, it was a tag team match. It was a Mysterio versus the Dirty Dogs. NXT legend Robert Roode and NXT champion Dolph Ziggler there.
Top 5 theme song for Robert Roode on NXT. I don't know about top 5 all time. I don't. Did he? He was champion, right?
Well, I just said he was legend. I didn't say.
Yeah, but
he had a decent run.
He had a great theme song.
Nowhere to be found.
I mean, outside of that, no, I don't remember much.
Yeah. Anyways, he says he's gonna find a way to get into WrestleMania, and then the microphone cuts off. He's upset. They cut him off. How could they? Backstage, he's talking to Pierce and DeVille, and they're not doing anything. So they'll try and find something for him. He's upset still. Later on in the evening, he interrupts AJ Styles' promo, and then he says, "How about we have a match and the winner gets to face Edge at WrestleMania."
He's desperate. He's down bad.
He seeks himself into another feud. Last week, somehow the match gets made. He's all happy. Match happens. Edge comes out, gets AJ disqualified by attacking him.
Mm-hmm.
AJ wins the match, so he still gets Edge at Mania. Seth Rollins once again left without a match. He's furious. He goes up on the announce table.
He gave that announce table a piece of his mind.
He said, "This is BS."
Mm-hmm. Did he use that exact? Did he? Yeah. Did he use that exact word? Or
he did. He
said BS, or did he?
The actual full on.
Yeah. Okay. So he didn't. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. He didn't hold back, and he said
he was very upset.
One time on the microphone, but the rest of the times he was yelling at it. And then he was destroying the announcement tables and everything. And he basically said, next week, Monday Night Raw is not going to happen until he gets his WrestleMania moment. So next week, we got to tune in. But Seth Rollins, it's not looking good for him.
It's really not. It doesn't sound like it. I mean, obviously they're building up to something, or they wouldn't have him go through some of this. But It's just it's an interesting buildup that they're going to do something with Seth Rollins. I mean, at least you would kind of assume they are.
Mhm.
One, you just never know. But two, if they're spending this much time and effort, I believe he closed out Raw with
Mhm.
what he did on the announce table and the little fit he threw. So it's got to be leading to something. I think after this week we had a good idea of what that may be, but as of right now, still to be determined.
Um, I mean, is it to be determined? I think it might be.
I haven't seen any official match, so
But the
until he's
match,
officially
no,
named on the card, then
you're right, but we
I'm
can't.
always right, Ethan. I'm always right.
Debatable.
Acknowledge me, Ethan.
No, but we are going to acknowledge the
Who's
trap,
we?
the
No,
head of
I'm
the table, Roman
you.
Reigns. He's in God mode now,
Mhm.
and we'll talk about the menace, Brock Lesnar, too. A lot of menaces going around here. He almost tried to commit murder on Roman Reigns and the Bloodline the other week. It was
On
terrifying.
all three of them.
Well, we'll talk.
Okay,
But
we'll
let's
talk
talk
about
about a potential opponent for Seth Rollins. Something we can basically confirm, according to PW Insider, and since then multiple sources have reported this. Cody Rhodes has signed with WWE. Multiple WWE sources have confirmed Rhodes inked his deal about 10 to 14 days ago. This was 3 days ago, so we can safely say it was around 2 to 2.5 weeks. That was also around the time I think reports were going around saying talks has fizzled out between Cody Rhodes and WWE.
Mhm.
So maybe they did fizzle out because he had signed a contract already and there was no reason for them to be
Yeah, right.
communicating at the moment.
It was a swerve, bro.
It was a swerve, bro, as Russo says. But no, they did not announce any new Hall of Fame inductee this week. I think the news that conquered the last couple of days has been the Cody Rhodes news. Basically, confirmation now that he's kind of coming. There was no teaser aside from Rollins kind of saying he's going to get a WrestleMania moment or demand one. Besides that, they didn't throw out any keywords. They didn't throw out nightmare or undeniable or mention anything about Crossroads or anything like that, like they have done in the last month and a half or so this week. So maybe they're trying to even lower the expectations a little bit, even though the Chicago crowd was very much loudly chanting for Cody.
I would imagine, yeah.
During Seth Rollins segment. So
you know what? And so I just caught the video clip of Seth Rollins, going through his little tantrum there at the end of Raw. And it was interesting because I was listening to hear if they were going to mention Cody, because obviously that seems to be the direction they were going to be going in. And so I'm listening for the crowd to hear what they're saying. And it felt like they were saying something, or they should have been saying something, but they weren't really saying Cody. So maybe they all, they messed with the audio there a little bit on the social media one. Maybe, I don't know. Where did you hear it? And was it clear? Because it did not come across as clear to me that there were Cody Rhodes chants, even though I thought there would be.
It was pretty clear backstage when that first initial segment.
Okay.
When we first see him after the opening segment, he's backstage being interviewed by Kevin Patrick, and he asks him, what's going on with you now since you don't have a Mania match, and it's silent. Rollins doesn't say anything besides, I'm gonna borrow this microphone, and walks away. But in between that kind of dead air, you hear the loud Cody chants. That's when you really hear it. I don't think you really hear it anywhere else. I think you mentioned they kind of messed with the audio.
Maybe. I'm assuming they would have. Yeah.
They probably did. So you don't really notice it anywhere else, but you definitely notice it in that first initial segment. They did not, change the audio there.
Now, do you think they need to introduce Cody before WrestleMania, during WrestleMania, or should come along after WrestleMania? Obviously, if he's coming after WrestleMania, that means they have different plans for Seth. But where do you think he fits in best? I'll kind of answer what I think after, but I'm just kind of curious.
Just bring him in a Mania. We got one more episode of Monday Night Raw. You've already got a stack show.
Yeah, we will talk about it, and it sounds like they do. For me, I mean, I think WrestleMania would be cool, but I think if you're doing that, to me, you're setting the bar and the expectation high of he's coming and he's coming in as an impact player, someone who's going to be winning the championship, right? Sometime in the near future, right? And I would think if he's coming in, especially for how much of one of the founding fathers, you could say to some degree of AEW, for him to change course, and of course, this isn't the first time we've seen this. We've seen this during the WCW, WWE stuff, where they're bouncing on different shows, but who knows? I just think that there has to be an expectation. He's had to have conversations with them before signing this contract of maybe not guaranteeing him a title run, but guaranteeing him he's going to be a main event kind of guy. If you're debuting him on WrestleMania, there's this hype behind him. They're paying him this kind of money. He's been able to make maybe a little bit more of a name for himself just because of what he's been able to do outside of WWE. So we'll see.
I think they have plans for him.
I would hope so, and I think he would hope so too. I think he doesn't sign unless he knows that, right? And of course, that can change.
It could change, but rumors. We don't really know. He's making somewhere between $3 to $5 million.
Oh, I didn't hear the number. Okay.
That's the rumor again, but that's up there with guys like Kevin Owens, who just re-signed a deal. We're going to talk about him right now. And as well as guys like Seth Rollins, who's already making, I believe, $3 million as well. Becky Lynch, I think, is around there as well. So he's making that main event level money.
Is that $3 million a year or $3 million for whatever the contract may be?
$3 a year.
Okay.
So that's a rumor. But
I would know. Well, unless they say a year, then I think maybe it's just over. I mean, I'm sure it might be a 3 year. I don't know. Because I thought they were I thought maybe the top star was making a little more than a couple thousand or something. I thought maybe you're underneath. I imagine Dominic Mysterio is making under $1 million.
He's making under $1 million a year.
I would think, but I would imagine maybe someone like Ray is maybe at $1 million or more.
Ray's at least $1 million, I would imagine, with this.
I would think, yeah.
20 years in the business and stuff, or WWE. But no, I think those names I just mentioned, kind of the main players, are definitely earning that. I think Roman Reigns was probably making, I heard, somewhere around 10 million.
I wouldn't be surprised. I mean, hell, Undertaker can make.
Lesnar was making 10.
Undertaker can make 20 million in one WrestleMania match or whatever.
Something like that. So, anyways, yeah. I mean, I think they're paying Cody that amount of money. I think they're gonna have to use them.
Yeah.
So.
Oh, definitely.
Let's talk about Owens, who I just mentioned.
Mm-hmm.
He got some heat on him this past Monday night on Raw.
When doesn't he?
You see the opening segment?
Is the one where he's all dressed up?
Mm-hmm.
I didn't catch it, but I've seen photos of it. Makes me want to go back and look. But tell me about it. I'm curious. I'm interested.
Opens up then, now, forever.
Mm-hmm.
Together, whatever. And then it opens up and just the crowd. And then you hear that glass break. And you think he's here. You think Stone Cold Steve Austin, Chicago, the fans, their faces, their reactions, they all got their phones out. And then we see Kevin Owens dressed up as Stone Cold Steve Austin. He's got the faces, he's got the shorts, he's got.
It didn't look that bad.
He's got the bald cap, the Austin 316 shirt, walking like Austin, doing the corner poses and everything.
That's great. I gotta go back and watch it then.
And then he cuts a promo like Stone Cold Steve Austin, saying how Kevin Owens is gonna beat Stone Cold Steve Austin. So he's kind of talking about himself beating himself because he is Stone Cold Steve Austin. He's playing Stone Cold Steve Austin. So
interesting. Yeah, I mean it's all in good fun. We've seen this a few times. The reason why this stood out to me is because they were sharing on Twitter the Miz did the thing with The Rock and was wearing the bald kind of cap, kind of match what The Rock's hairstyle was at that time. So I think it's kind of interesting.
They also were sharing the Shawn Michaels one, but then he was in Canada, and they played Bret Hart's music. And Bret obviously still wasn't aligned with the company back then.
That's right.
So, because he then teased like halfway through the promo, Austin's music played again, teasing, oh, Austin's gonna come out again, and he fooled them twice. So,
and they're really kind of hyping that angle up a little bit because there was a commercial about it where they had Austin, or they had Kevin Owens on it, but then they also kind of had the video that Stone Cold had kind of addressing and saying you would see Owens at Mania. It makes sense, and I kind of wouldn't expect to see Stone Cold out until WrestleMania, obviously, but knowing the star power and then the rise that fans can get just when they hear that glass break, I'm sure is worth giving a good little tease for during a Monday Night Raw.
Well, I think that's how you build up a story when you have, I think both Owens and Rollins are doing really well, kind of carrying this brand because I mean, essentially, yeah, Owens is feuding with Austin, obviously, but Austin's not going to be on TV until Mania. I'd be surprised if he shows up on the Raw before. And then same thing for Rollins. He's obviously going to be doing something, and he's kind of his whole story is he's got to get on the card, and so I've seen a lot of appreciation for those two, especially Rollins.
So, are we seeing your guy Roman Reigns on both shows? Because obviously it's champion versus champion. Brock represents one show, Roman represents the other. Now, are we getting both these guys on the same show? I think with this upcoming Raw is supposed to be those two doing some sort of face-to-face or being in the same arena kind of deal.
So last week's SmackDown, we'll talk about it after the break. But yes, it has been promoted for next week's Raw that Roman Reigns and Brock Lesnar will both be there. They didn't say if it was a face-to-face or anything, but they will both be there in attendance, as well as an 8-woman tag team match featuring all 4 teams featured in that women's tag team title match. That's going to happen, as well as Miz versus Rey Mysterio, which is teasing, obviously, their WrestleMania match, their tag match. So it's going to be a pretty big show next week. Obviously, Seth Rollins is still looking for something to do at Mania.
Somebody, yeah.
I'm sure Owens will probably do something as well. So it's going to be a pretty big Raw before Mania there. But when we return, we'll talk about some Friday Night SmackDown, talk about our tribal chief, throw the ones up, Roman Reigns. And we'll talk about Sami Zayn, who's been another key player into this build-up. All that and more right here on episode 187 of Beyond the Ropes. We'll be right back. We are 22S Radio. 22S Radio is 22smedia.com and 88.1 FM, KKJZ HD3, Long Beach, Los Angeles. Welcome back to episode 187 of Beyond the Ropes. We are BTR Pro Wrestling Talk. I am your host, Ethan. You can find me on Twitter at Ethan9095. You can find James at
JHW Reporter.
And you can find Rob at
Rob Flores Media.
And you can find us on Anchor. Search up Beyond the Ropes. You'll hear our lovely voices here. We're talking about Tribal Chief. Throw up those ones. We the ones.
0.
All right. He's
Is it all right?
Now. Did you know he was in God mode, sir?
Apparently, I think you sent me his new T-shirt or whatever.
T-shirt. Get a new T-shirt. I gotta.
Did you get it? Did you order it?
I still haven't ordered the last one. I'm waiting for it to go on sale.
So you mean it's that you acknowledge this man, but anytime he comes out with a new little T-shirt, you're not putting your money down on the table, huh?
You got so many T-shirts.
How would you not have them all? If it was up to him, he'd probably have you wear one every day of the week.
I would do that. If he specifically called me out and said, you have to wear one of my T-shirts every day of the week, I would say yes. Of course.
Do you want me to tweet at him?
Go ahead. The T-shirt says greatness on a different level mode, which is translating.
Greatness on a different. Okay. I see it. I respect the what they're doing there. I get it. Play on words, I think they call it.
Yeah, God mode. Came out. He was talking about Brock Lesnar. How he missed his flight apparently due to weather.
Brock missed his flight.
Apparently due to weather. Paul
Okay.
Heyman, the special counsel, not the advocate, the special counsel to Roman Reigns, the tribal chief, said Brock was a no-show. And Roman was talking, of course, because he could back it up.
Oh, can he? I mean, he or maybe he's just talking his talk when Brock's not in the building.
Well, moments later, Paul Heyman had, I guess he has some sources, stated that Brock Lesnar was on his way. Apparently, he did catch his flight, and he did arrive moments later, and it was time to go. Roman Reigns said, so he did his thing. He showed up to work, had to go, and he gets in the car. Right before he gets in the car, he says, "WTF, not PG." He lips it at least, so you can see it on camera. And you see that maniac Brock Lesnar using some type of forklift, stabs the forklift right through the vehicle. Could have seriously injured the bloodline.
Could have, but didn't.
Didn't. They escaped. They went into another car, and he was chasing after, and he broke the door off the back door. Poor Paul Heyman, I think, who's back there, almost got left behind. Terrifying.
I have to go back and see that. I didn't know they were bringing back vehicles in the backstage area, much like they did with Austin back in the day. I didn't know.
Apparently so. And Brock Lesnar comes out, brings out the door, brings it all the way to the ring, like it's a toy or something. And he says, he keeps saying blood for blood. So I feel like we're going to see it. Oh, it's not going to be a first blood match, but I feel we're going to see some color at this.
There's going to be some color in the match. I would have to imagine. So, I mean, how can there not be when you have these two big physical guys getting in there? Like, they're not pulling back punches or anything. I'm expecting this to be a physical fight. I think, isn't that what the last couple matches, WrestleMania main events they've had together have been, where they're pretty much like giving all they got, and these guys are pretty exhausted after, as I could only imagine, just because they're picking each other up, suplexing each other, and these guys, these aren't your normal cruiserweights, or I mean, they're just not cruiserweights in general. But yeah, I'm expecting a pretty physical style match here, and now that you mentioned, I kind of guess I think I would probably be a little bit disappointed if there wasn't color coming out of this match.
Well, like we mentioned before the break, they are going to face off at least one more time before WrestleMania. On next week's episode, as by the time this airs, probably that already happened, or it'll be up shortly. But it will be on Monday Night Raw before WrestleMania. I don't know what's going to happen this upcoming Friday, as we're recording this. So I don't know if it's Brock's going to show up or not, or Roman. But it should be interesting. A go-home show to Raw should be really good to check out. Let's talk about someone else who's been killing it on the SmackDown game. Sami Zayn. Celebrity Feud, keeping it up. Yeah, he was in Knoxville, Tennessee this past week. He went to Johnny Knoxville's hometown. On social media, he posted a couple of videos, asking citizens of Knoxville, Tennessee, what they thought of Johnny Knoxville.
No mention of Kane. No visiting the mayor's office. Anything along those lines.
I think they're keeping Kane off TV for a little bit.
That's right.
Controversial comments.
Kane's in a little hot water, I believe. Yes.
He's got some heat, literally.
He's got some heat. Yes, it does.
But yes, no, we've got. I mean, I didn't watch all the videos, so maybe they didn't mention Kane. I don't know, but
probably not. Probably not.
That I did see on Instagram and Twitter. People were seemingly fans of Johnny Knoxville. And so Sami Zayn wasn't too pleased to hear about that. But credit to Sami Zayn and Johnny Knoxville for kind of both making an interesting storyline here out of what could have just been a boring celebrity feud. I think Sami Zayn's definitely doing a lot to try and get this match over.
Sorry, go ahead. Nope, go ahead.
This match has been officially made. Sami Zayn made the challenge on SmackDown. Knoxville responded later on in the night via video, stating that this match is going to be anything goes.
Anything goes, Sammy and Johnny Knoxville.
Knoxville's going to win this match.
I'm assuming that, I guess they'd probably keep it in the ring for the most part, just because when you have a big crowd, you're not trying to do too many things backstage. But I think we may see some appearances there. I'm not sure who Sami Zayn would bring to the party here, but I have a few ideas of
who
Who
Knoxville?
Johnny
is.
Knoxville would bring.
I'm sure he has some friends that are willing to do a few crazy stunts. I'm sure.
I'm sure he knows a few.
Sure, he can
Sure he
get a
knows
few
a few.
people to help him out there. I think you would think this basically Knoxville's guaranteed to win this match. No,
Mhm.
now that it's anything goes, I feel like it kind of has to, which is fine. Sami Zayn's great, probably do something great after WrestleMania. But yeah, no, this is a feud that's definitely been heating up. One of the more interesting feuds going into Mania.
So you're behind this feud.
I am. I think out of the 3 celebrity feuds, this is probably the one I'm most interested in.
That's what I was gonna ask. Yeah, how you felt this one maybe stacked up to some of the other celebrity ones, because I know we kind of have a few. I feel like it's a little celebrity heavy this year. I
a little
feel.
bit. We've got Pat McAfee and Austin Theory. I think their feud's heating up a little bit. I don't think it's. They started to pick it up last week. Vince McMahon, who quote unquote was backstage, told Pat McAfee that he had to apologize, in addition to having no contact with Austin Theory.
That's right.
Otherwise, he would lose his WrestleMania match, along with lose his spot on commentary. So last week he kind of gave a poor apology, I should say. Kind of insulting Austin Theory along the way, but he did apologize. Last Monday, he was special guest commentator for Austin Theory's match against the Prince, Finn Balor. And he helped Finn Balor pick up the victory by distracting Austin Theory. So
getting a little momentum there on the mat. Not getting in contact with Austin Theory, but doing enough, like you said, to get the distraction there, and get Finn Balor that win. So yeah, good way to get McAfee involved there, and again, I mean, I feel like he's had some physical, confrontations and stuff when he was working with what is his name, Cole Adam or something.
That guy he used to be a wrestler.
Yeah, he used to be a wrestler. I'm surprised you don't know who I'm talking about, but okay, yeah. I mean, he worked with some guy before, but Adam Cole. Yeah, I think Mac is that who it is? I don't know.
I think so.
He never really did a whole lot in WWE.
Oh no, longest reigning.
Are you over Adam Cole? Are you off the?
He hasn't done anything lately to really make me care.
I mean, yeah, you don't hate his guts or anything, but
no, look,
you just kind of, he's on the bench right now. He's on the bench. You're not vibing with what he's doing.
The era guys are really on the bench for me right now. It's not like the other two are doing anything in AEW either.
Right.
Strong's kind of fallen backseat to the Creed brothers at this point.
That's right.
So it's not like they're really doing much. Look, Adam Cole, when his contract comes to an end in AEW, he decides maybe he wants to come back. I will fully support him. I think he's very young still. He's only 30, I think, so he still got time to come back. Maybe we'll see him have a great run, but I mean, we're seeing, for instance, Cody Rhodes. He left. Years. He was the executive vice president of the company over there. So,
even with Cody, I wouldn't be surprised if he just does a couple of years, gets a nice little paycheck from WWE with this, and depending on how the run goes, maybe he flips back over and returns home to some degree with AEW and what they have going on there. So I wouldn't be surprised if we see him kind of jump back over at some point.
Yeah, potentially. So, so that's a possibility there. Let's get it back into some WrestleMania news matches. Rob here in the chat was talking about the women's tag team title match happening at WrestleMania last week. Your favorite, Natalya, and her tag team partner Shayna, they just decided to get involved in this feud and force their way into this tag team title match.
Kind of a random tag team. I feel like weren't they a tag team before? They were on opposite sides of a tag team feud earlier this year, or not this year maybe, but late last year or something.
They faced each other last year with Natalya and Tamina teaming against.
That's right.
But there is history between them, and we do know they train together. And they are friends, so it's I mean, I think it's a good pairing. It's just kind of random how they just started adding teams to this match.
Yeah.
Initially started with Sasha Banks and
Mhm.
Naomi versus Carmella and Zelina. Then we got Liv and
Rhea.
Rhea Ripley.
Mhm.
And last week, now we've got the addition of Natalia and Shayna Baszler. It's officially a fatal 4-way match.
I think that, obviously them and the way they try to do is they try to get everyone or as many people as possible on the WrestleMania card and get part of that payday to some degree. I mean, I don't know how much of that holds up now, just with all the cutting they're doing. If they don't need, I would assume if they don't need people for the show, but then you see examples like this where they're making late additions to, a multiple tag match and et cetera, et cetera. But it's all in good fun. You can get Natalia and talented, wrestlers like her and Shayna Baszler on the card and involved in a match. I think they'll be better for it.
Another match we have, a tag team match. The Usos will be defending against Rick Boogs and Shinsuke Nakamura. Kind of a bit of a random one.
I was going to say kind of random because it feels kind of thrown together. Yeah.
Vince seems to like Rick Boogs, I think, because he kind of
like from backstage segments or just the way he's kind of being presented, pushed, packaged.
Because he doesn't really take too many losses.
Yeah.
And he's pretty dominant in the ring. Generally, I mean, he's a big guy, so
he reminds me of Vince, and I think I said this before. Like, I didn't realize how buff like Boogs was. I had no idea. Just the first few times I saw him, I just thought he was like a silly man, like just And then like I saw him, I think during the Royal Rumble, and he was like, I'm like, yo, and that's kind of like Vince too. Like he was, you just see him in a suit or whatever, and then he has that match with Austin. He's like jacked and like ripped, for the most part. So yeah, I can kind of see. I think they're on a good, they kind of where they want with Boogs. I'm kind of curious, when do they break them off though? Like when do they, kind of have that who turns on who? Are we trying to get Shinsuke heel again? I guess they're technically babyface right now, right?
They are babyface. I would not be surprised if they actually get the win here. The Usos have had the title for a while.
They have.
So I don't know.
Are you willing to afford or see both them, the Bloodline, lose the tag titles and then later that night lose the world title or whichever title Roman's holding? I mean, I just
the disrespect.
I mean, the trophy case might get emptied out at WrestleMania for the Bloodline, and then they're gonna be sad.
I believe these are happening on different nights, so it's not gonna be back to back. Okay,
that makes it even worse. It's gonna be a bad weekend for the Bloodline.
Oh Lord!
Not even one day. Like they're not ripping the Band-Aid. They're like taking a long time with it. Your thoughts?
Anyways, it's not gonna happen. The last thing you are gonna see at WrestleMania is Roman Reigns standing over Brock Lesnar, both titles up in the air. Everyone acknowledging their tribal chief. I want you to acknowledge our tribal chief already. It's about time, sir.
Is there a deal or something that could be made here?
Is there a deal?
If he beats Brock Lesnar clean, at WrestleMania, then I'll acknowledge Guy.
You hear that, Rob?
He has to beat him clean. Like the Usos can't interfere. Paul Heyman can't interfere. Like it needs to be clean.
Okay.
I mean, like they can have weapons and stuff, I guess. Whatever.
I mean, they might have weapons in there. They might just make it no DQ last minute.
Yeah.
They do that sometimes. So, I mean, if it becomes no DQ, then the Usos technically can get involved. Yeah,
but I think Boogs will have roughed them up a little bit that they may not even come out because they took a beating in their tag match, even if it is on a different day.
Depends. If they win,
if they keep the tag titles,
they'll show up. If they lose, potentially they might not.
I think if they lose, it if they win, if they retain the tag titles, I think I think it could be a bad thing for.
You think it's a bad thing for Roman?
For Roman, it could.
Oh. You don't see all of them walking out with gold. Is that what you're telling me?
Nah, yeah, I think they gotta mix it up because it's like if they don't have at least one of if they don't have the tag title or the world title, then like what do they do with the stable from there? Like there has to be some sort of consistency, some success, like something. But if they're like leave empty-handed without with all the titles gone. Like,
All right. And yes, Rob, they are going to wear a lei. The tribal lei out to the ring.
okay, but wait a minute, wait a
Grand
minute.
entrance. They should
So-
really have like a Samoan dance, the whole celebration.
Why wear a lei if Roman wins? I don't have a lei. Maybe though. Maybe I'll find one. But if Roman loses clean, then you need to acknowledge Brock Lesnar as your new tribal chief going forward. And with that, we're probably gonna head to commercial break here. I don't think Rob has anything else, or not Rob, but Ethan. No
We'll be
thoughts?
right
Yeah,
back.
we're going to a commercial break. We'll see you at on the other side of the break here in these commercials. Enjoy.
We are 22S Radio. 22S Radio is 22smedia.com and 88.1 FM, KKJZ HD3, Long Beach, Los Angeles. Welcome back to episode 187 of Beyond the Ropes. I am your host, Ethan, joined alongside the analyst, James Williams, and producer, Rob Flores. You can find me on Twitter at Ethan985. You can follow James at
JHW Reporter.
You can follow Rob at
Rob Flores Media.
Facebook.com/Beyond the Ropes is where you're going to find us. Every video that we record is being posted on there every week.
Mm-hmm.
You can find us on Anchor. Listen to us there as well. And you can also watch us and listen to us on YouTube. Just search up Beyond the Ropes there. Let's see. Let's get into some numbers of last week, shall we?
Yeah, we have some numbers for this week. I don't think we're recording this on a Tuesday, so I don't think the Raw numbers for March 21st are out yet, but we do have a few others from since our last show aired. But here we go. We got a Rampage for March 18th, and is that right? Yes, March 18th. A Rampage for AEW, 398,000. And you had AEW Dynamite March 16th with 993,000. So getting close to that million mark, or staying within range of that million mark. Again, I'm not actually, and I kind of mentioned this last week, but maybe it's not the case. Obviously, the NCAA March Madness Men's College Basketball Tournament is taking place, and it's taking up a lot of TV time on TBS, TNT, True TV, etc. But I think those are happening on Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, and we're not getting a lot of that during the weekday. So maybe Rampage is getting impacted a little bit, but I know Dynamite would, just based on the scheduling, I believe is still in the clear and not running into a scheduling conflict there with the men's college basketball tournament. With that being said, jumping over to the numbers for the shows we do have for WWE. NXT on March 15th had 624,000, and then you had SmackDown for the March 18th episode with 2.15 million. So holding strong as, say what you will, but the flagship of the WWE television programming. You can give all of that credit to Brock Lesnar, maybe some to Paul Heyman, but Roman Reigns is there too. But you can continue to give all of that credit to Brock Lesnar, who's having to carry both shows here.
And Seth Rollins here. Well, Brock Lesnar didn't even show up to work this past Monday, but Seth Rollins is the one bringing in the ratings for Monday Night Raw, because I do have ratings for the March 21st episode of Monday Night Raw.
Okay, did they just come out then?
Mm-hmm. This was 3 hours ago.
Okay, well maybe I didn't look in every corner.
Terrible journalist. Terrible.
Whatever.
So I'm carrying the show on my back. My back hurts from carrying the show.
Imagine.
All right, Raw had, let's see, 1,769,000 viewers, which is
That sounds about
from last week.
Within range of what they've been doing the last couple weeks. So good for them.
It was.
I'm trying to remember. Because I remember there was a long stretch, and this was a few years ago now, where, oh my God, wrestling's down, the numbers for Raw are down, they're panicking. Do you remember what that number was at all? Or was it around this, or was it lower than this?
It was like 2 million or something.
So they're kind of over that now. Like, they're kind of like, this is the new average, I guess, kind of deal. Like,
at one point, Raw, I mean, in the Attitude Era, they were getting 10 million, but this time it was like 4 million. 3 million was kind of average, but it was around 4 million. And yes, like something like 2 million was kind of low. These
Mhm.
days, 1.7 is a pretty good number.
Yeah.
Apparently, at least
Considering how many hours they're doing, they've added an extra hour and stuff
they
too. It's a
count
3-hour
obviously,
show.
they count the YouTube numbers as well. You're seeing 2.3 million for like the women's tag team match that happened last week on SmackDown between Chaucer Banks, Naomi, and Liv and Rhea Ripley. So they're getting a couple million views with their YouTube stuff. Just individual segments as well. So
Right.
yeah,
Yeah, the content's all over the place, and you can find what you want, and that's just the thing, and that's the time and age. The TV ratings probably don't carry as much weight as they did back in the day, like especially during the Attitude Era, but still important in a measuring stick of
well,
kind of the general audience and TV watchers.
this is what I found interesting listening to Jim Cornette's podcast a couple of days ago. And network executives, the most important thing they care about, number one, isn't even the ratings.
Okay.
Money. If the show's making money, they don't really care. The ratings come second, but the most important thing is the money. They don't care what's on their programming, what's on their network, because he learned from experience.
Yep.
He's had an executive talk to him. I can find an infomercial, and they'll make as much as money or not more as a wrestling show is on. So.
Yeah, like an episode of Cops or something was getting a higher rating on Spike TV than what Impact was or something.
Yeah, they don't care
sometimes
on TV as long as the product is making money. So, I mean, ratings, yes, can be important, but as long as they're making their money, don't think the network really cares as much. And they realize things have gone down with streaming services and all that. So I think it plays a big part in that. So let's talk about someone who's a big ratings draw, apparently. Let's talk about it. Say it with me, James. L.A. Knight. Yeah. All right.
Yeah.
He went face to face with Gunther. What is this? Do you see that video? I sent it to you.
I don't watch Gunther stuff. No Gunther content for me.
You don't like Gunther?
No.
Why not?
I don't like the name. I don't know. I can't get into it.
It's very German. Something.
Yeah.
I think he's German.
It's a no for me, sis.
No?
Well, the name don't do it. Like his name was Walter. Like that's like
L.A. Knight versus.
Isn't that like
versus Gunther?
Yeah, Gunther. See,
at
least you could say Walter. Walter. Who is that? Delete like that. Walter.
That's Matt Hardy.
Yeah,
that's that bum Matt Hardy over there. No, but let's. This is gonna happen at Stand and Deliver. I'm pretty sure they teased it. By the way, Stand and Deliver is happening WrestleMania.
Wait,
it's happening WrestleMania Saturday, which is also going to be
that's technically a premium live
event.
Right? That's what I was wondering. I'm like, wait, is this a premium live event, or are we just throwing it on?
It is a premium live event.
Premium live event. You gotta do it fast. Premium live event.
Premium live event. Premium live event. It's happening at noon for us.
Okay.
Is it noon?
Wait, why noon?
Might be 9 a.m.
Is this on WrestleMania weekend?
WrestleMania Saturday, sir.
Okay, Saturday, Sunday. Okay. So wait.
It's happening later on. So we get a double dose. We get Stand and Deliver and WrestleMania Night 1.
Really? That's what they're doing? That's a lot of wrestling.
NXT champion Dolph Ziggler is going to defend against your guy, Braun Breaker.
Yeah, Braun Breaker is my guy.
Braun
Breaker.
The beautiful, fantastic,
Braun Breaker?
Toxic Attraction leader, Mandy Rose, just stunning.
Is she gonna have a match? That would be stunning.
She's defending the title against the child. Cora Jade, believe it or not.
Pajamas?
No, the Cora Jade, the 19-year-old.
Oh, she literally a teenager.
She might have turned 20 recently, but yes, she's basically a child.
Okay.
I mean, she's the one that I think got the pin at the War Games. So.
Okay.
She's been doing messing with the most beautiful faction in all of professional wrestling and sports entertainment, Toxic Attraction. That isn't named the Bloodline, but
okay.
Yeah.
Okay, so you think Paul Heyman's pretty? Okay.
He's a handsome guy. See him with the ponytail when he had the ponytail? Oh my god.
I'm not judging.
All right.
Anyways,
What else do we
so
got?
what is the other part of that faction doing? Are they tag champion? They're tag champions, right? They're defending the title, or are they just gonna stand around like Mandy Rose? Is that what they've learned from her so far?
They're gonna defend those titles against the Dusty Classic winners, which is gonna be determined tonight, I believe. So
Oh yeah, because they started like way after the women's one, right? I thought they were kind of
Men.
doing them at the same time or something. Or I think maybe I don't know.
the men started
It's like so out of the way. Like I heard him bring it up, and I was like, oh, I thought that was like like 2 months ago or something.
we're gonna get Imperium defend those tag titles against the Creed brothers and MSK in a triple threat tag match.
Mm.
And then we're gonna get it looks like we're gonna get the Toxic Attraction defend those tag titles against the winners of tonight's, as we're recording, Dusty Classic.
So where are they? Where is this going to be at on the WrestleMania stage arena? Like,
This is gonna be.
there's not going to be in
separate.
Texas.
It's gonna be in Texas. It's gonna be in an arena.
Okay, I was just making sure.
So should be fun for whoever's going to all those events. Good luck to you. Not to mention the indie events that I'm sure are gonna happen there.
Yeah. Now that everything's kind of back in full swing, I'm sure. I haven't heard too much about like WWE Access or anything this year.
They're having it.
Maybe that's a thing. Yeah.
I think it might be like limited, or I don't know.
Yeah, I haven't heard too much about it this year. I mean, I don't know. Still kind of pandemic times.
Yeah, definitely potential another wave potentially coming. So
We'll see.
let's be safe out there. But yeah, I mean, we've got another triple threat tag match added to the WrestleMania card. RK Bro defending those tag titles against the Alpha Academy and the Street Profits. That should be a fun match.
Definitely got to get them on the card. I think all those tag teams have kind of been doing pretty well for themselves for the most part. I think Randy and Randy and Riddle, they're still kind of over as a tag team, right? And I think some people are invested in buying into to Chad Gable and
he's been putting in some great work.
Yeah.
Otis has been doing
and
really
Otis,
well.
yeah.
So they're doing real well. Street Profits, people like them, you know.
Yep.
So can't go out for that match.
And what's going on? Did we talk about Becky and Belair at all, or where we at with that? I heard.
Let's talk about that bum, Belair.
Oh, I thought you meant Becky Lynch.
No, she didn't show up to work this week. Becky Lynch
didn't.
No, she did.
Yeah, but isn't Belair hurt? Wasn't she like attacked or
Allegedly.
Yeah, I wonder who attacked her.
Well,
How'd
you know, an eye for an eye, a throat for a throat, as Becky said this past week.
Sorry, I thought she hurt her leg.
No, it was a throat.
Oh, well, that's not good.
It's not, but we'll see if she does show up. Maybe Seth Rollins could take Bianca Belair's place at WrestleMania.
Yeah, I guess some people would probably.
I'm all for it.
Sure.
Go for
I think
that.
Becky wins.
Super Grand Slam champion.
I think Becky would win if she was one-on-one with Seth.
I think Becky always wins. Yeah.
Maybe, but maybe not against Belair if it's a fair fight.
Oh, we're talking about Belair.
Oh no, well, I was talking about Becky would be Seth, but I'm saying that given it be a fair fight with proper warning, like proper time to prepare, I think Belair beats Becky without a doubt.
Maybe. If she's lucky. If she recovers in time. Hopefully she recovers in time.
Well, we wish her a speedy recovery. All three of us do, right?
Do we?
Yeah, all three of us.
I'll wish her a speedy recovery when you acknowledge Roman Reigns.
She may actually be recovered by that time that happens.
Then I wish her a recovery. Not a speedy recovery, but I wish her a recovery.
It don't gotta be speedy though.
No, she can take her time.
That's tough. That's tough because you're scared that Becky Lynch is gonna lose to her. I understand.
No. Someone I do wish speedy recovery. Biggie posted an update.
Yeah, I saw that earlier. I shared it, but I don't have. Do you have that in front of you?
Let me bring it up here on the Twitter machine here.
It sounded like it was kind of scary.
A little bit. Here he goes. 4 hours ago, from as of this recording, had my first doctor's appointment and learning, in parentheses, because of the C1 fracture, I narrowly escaped a stroke. paralysis or death
Mhm.
is very sobering. Life feels even more precious and valuable now.
Yep.
So obviously, Biggie, we're kind of reflecting on everything, which is insane. Very happy that he's not any of those or didn't
Mhm.
have to deal with any of those issues. Um, so seems to be doing okay considering everything, you know.
Yeah, and obviously, several of the wrestlers continue to pour in and rally behind Big E, so that's good to see. Good to see. Or do we have any plans for Woods or Kofi during WrestleMania? Are they
No,
kind
they're
of sitting out?
Kofi just lost to Ridge the Fridge took out Big E.
Mhm.
And then Butch was ready to attack him. Butch, our favorite wrestler,
Good
Butch,
old Butch. Yeah, that's right.
was ready to attack him. So I don't know. It looks like maybe
We're
Woods
gonna
will
get
be
a
back.
we can get a battle royal here at all. I mean, we probably don't got enough people for a battle royal at this point, but
Rumor has it they're doing the Andre Battle Royal and SmackDown before, like they did last year.
yeah, like that's
And
no
then
fun.
potentially there's still rumors of a woman's Battle Royal at Mania. Right.
Is that the one that they called the Mae Young thing and or Fabulous
It's
Moolah?
the
Then they took it off.
WrestleMania Women's Battle Royal because
Yeah.
name controversy.
Okay.
Interesting names that haven't had, and matches haven't been announced. Finn Balor, who's a U.S. champion. I'm sure he's gotten. You would think he would get a match versus Damian Priest.
Yeah, wasn't that supposed to be a thing? I thought that was
Priest was nowhere to be found this week. I believe he's doing media. He was
okay.
doing media earlier today. But I would imagine since he did beat Finn Balor, I would imagine he would get a match at Mania.
Yeah, I would think so.
And then Ricochet, who was crowned Intercontinental Champion, kind of left in the dust. Maybe he unites with Kofi and Woods to kind of take Big E's place. Maybe they do a six-pack or something. Give him something to do. So,
and
then you got any last minute things here, James?
Yeah, sure. One thing for me that's kind of stand out, obviously, I'm usually kind of browsing around on Twitch when I'm working and stuff and kind of seeing what's going on there. WWE 2K came out. Either I guess it's been. I think last time we talked about it a little bit out.
Yeah.
It's been out for some time now, or not some time, but fairly recently. Still kind of new, and it's actually kind of pretty popular. It seems with a lot of the people that I follow, at least. A lot of people who are playing other games outside of the wrestling or circle, more or less, or they're usually playing Madden or Grand Theft Auto or Fortnite or something like that. But there's been a lot of people, I'm kind of surprised, playing WWE and saying, hey, that looks fun, and getting behind. I think Aiden Ross is one of the biggest Twitch streamers out there. He's been streaming it and whatnot, and everyone's kind of making their characters. It's kind of interesting to see them. They're playing it online against other people live. I played WWE online before, and it was kind of crazy. They're spamming in their bots and stuff on there, but it sounds like they're having a good time on there, and we'll see how long that momentum keeps up for the game. I think they may have skipped last year's edition of the game, and I think this was their first year back. I might be mistaken. Maybe that was 2 years ago. But anyway, it's good to see the WWE 2K game doing well for itself. Also, you had Gabe Stevenson, the Olympic wrestler, representing Team USA, and finished up his college career at the University of Minnesota. Obviously, Minnesota, a hotbed for a lot of wrestlers back in the day, but and has some ties to Brock Lesnar in a way. But Gabe Stevenson, who I think was drafted to Raw a couple months ago or something, put his shoes on the mat, his wrestling shoes on the mat, ending his college career, and basically, I guess, putting your shoes on the mat like that is a symbol that you're going to be retiring from the sport altogether. So we might be seeing him maybe get into the Performance Center or something along those lines, but really maybe starting to focus more on the WWE stuff going forward. So should be interesting to see how he comes along. Obviously, the expectations are high for Olympic wrestlers and those who've wrestled in the Olympics and whatnot. So the bar will be pretty high. We'll see how he does. But his college career was a pretty good run for him. Without a doubt.
April 4th, get ready for it. Send Veer. He's coming in. Everyone's looking forward to it.
If they would have done this on April 1st, I would have said this is a swerve, but we'll see how it plays out.
Until then, we'll see you after WrestleMania. This episode has been absolutely too sweet.